Check us out, use the hotline number to chime. Come on and join us, there's lots of surprise for you. Fun and family, with great fellowship too.
Crystal and Sean have exciting words. I'm sure there's something that you've never heard. Sunday at 6, it's an excellent mix. We got spiritual flair, special guests will be there.
Come on and join us, we're here and waiting for you. Connect with us at 6 o'clock, we want to share in all you do. Come on and join us, come right here and find. Connect with us and share your thoughts, we want to explore your mind. Chattitudes, Chattitudes.
What's your attitude?
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 Come on and join us, we're gonna have a good time. Listen up, check us out, use the hotline number to chime. Come on and join us, there's lots of surprise for you. Fun and family, with great fellowship too.
Crystal and Sean have exciting words. I'm sure there's something that you've never heard. Sunday at 6, it's an excellent mix. We got spiritual flair, special guests will be there.
Come on and join us, we're here and waiting for you. Connect with us at 6 o'clock, we want to share in all you do. Come on and join us, come right here and find. Connect with us and share your thoughts, we want to explore your mind. Chattitudes, Chattitudes.
What's your attitude?
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 Hello. Welcome to Chattitudes.
Yes.
What's your attitude? Welcome for
Yes.
another exciting topic and exciting week here at Chattitudes. We just want to welcome you today. Look, I'm going to just say this. We're thankful to have you. Look, we don't take it for granted that you could be doing something else on a Sunday at 6 o'clock. But I just want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Absolutely.
We know it's a holiday
appreciate-
weekend.
yes.
We're talking about freedom. We're talking about Independence Day. And our subject today is freedom with a price. But here's the
Yes.
thing. Are we really free?
Are
we
we
free when you come out of prison? Are you free that you've been here actually and we're living just as Black Americans?
Yes.
Are we truly free? And so the topic today is freedom with a price. Hey, we start our Black Lives Matter series. I mean,
Right.
we've just been on topic after topic after topic. So we're excited that you're here. We got some exciting guests with us
Yes,
today. Hey,
we do.
I'm super excited today because my sister is in
Yes.
the building. So whenever we got family here, and we consider everyone that come here
Right.
really as family.
Absolutely.
But this is the person that I grew up with for the last 40-something plus years. And so we're excited just that she's here today, and her counterpart, Charles Smith, is here today. So they're going to give us some very important details. But before we get started with all the details, Sean going to take care of all the housekeeping stuff.
Yes.
And then we'll get right back to you. So hang on one second. Go ahead, Sean.
Yes, welcome again, and thank you so much to all of our friends and family, our supporters, our friends and family that's praying for us and always supporting. Thank you so much. Also, if you want to continue to support us financially, just to be a blessing, always feel free to go to Cash App. You can use the $ Chattitudes. We really appreciate it. Also, we want to point you to our website, chattitudes.org. You can also find us on social media, Instagram, Chattitude 2020,
Yes.
and on Facebook at Chattitudes. And if for some reason you feel led to call in, go ahead and call our hotline number here.
Yes.
It's 240-719-2560.
All right. Thank you so much. We see, hey, our faithful folks are on the chat
Come on
already.
in,
And so
come on in.
welcome to the
Come
chat.
on
We
in.
see y'all. We see y'all guys. We love you. Right now in Washington, D.C. alone, I'm just going to tell you the stats right now.
Right.
1,800 people incarcerated right here in the nation's capital. 1.4 million prisoners incarcerated in the U.S.
Wow.
I'm going to tell you guys, I mean, in just reading statistics and doing so much research, I'm going to tell you something. This whole school to prison pipeline is so real.
It's real.
It starts very early in life with our children, where they may be misbehaving as opposed to their counterparts. And I'm just going to tell you what ends up happening to our kids. our kids get the cops called on them. So they get arrested at an alarming rate, where the other kids, they're sent to the principal's office. They may be sent home for a few days. So our kids are introduced to prison very, very early in life. Yes. 10 years old, 11, 12 years old. Our kids are already introduced to the penal system.
Right.
So we're talking about to the school, the prison hotline, pipeline.
Right.
I'm telling you, it starts very, very early.
Right.
So we're going to talk about today, because we might do a two-part. We're going to do a two-part series on this whole prison thing, because there's so many different parts to prison reform. We got prevention. We got recidivism. You know, we have so many different parts to the prison system and the criminal justice system. So we're going to just tackle it all. And I'm just going to tell you something. I'm going to say this. As Christians, I'm going to go ahead and say that I can tell you that statistically, most of the people who identify with any religion, most of them are Christian that are in the jail cell. So don't think that this can't happen to you, that this can't happen to your family, because every time I begin to talk about prison, I say that we're all one bad decision away from prison. Sometimes you back me up into a corner. Sometimes I don't know if I want to snap, but that's why it's a daily struggle. It's a daily walk with Christ that I do. Right. And so that therefore that even when I'm backed up into the corner, now I got some scripture to hold on to. I got some other things that I got to now hold on to. Right. Because this thing is a daily struggle. While I say I won't do something, you back me up in a corner, I just don't know. You do something to my daughter, I just don't know what can happen. So we all one bad decision away from jail. So don't ever think that you're above this thing. This is something that we have to talk about collectively.
Absolutely. And just to even hit back on the school to prison pipeline, I'm actually associated with a teachers union, and that's one of the things we've really pushed, is to try to make sure that those school districts change those policies in the school, because to me it looks like it's actually set up for Black and brown students. It's actually set up. I mean, it's not in writing. You know, they call it like a myth or something like that, but it does exist. That school to prison pipeline is real, because statistics do not lie.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was, even when we talked about the whole police, you know, defund the police, that was one of the things, too. You can take those same funds and put that in the school system, because, again, whole, you know, needing counselors in the school and making sure, not even the student. And so my thing is, even just reading about all of this is actually, because I think what the school system does, they pretty much look at what's going on the surface. That child was misbehaving. Or it could just be a school uniform, you know, violation. And so they don't look at the root of the issue. Maybe there's some misbehavior, but why? So I think even just getting the family involved, to prevent them from going to prison. But again, we know the prison is also a place, a system set up where it's a money maker.
It is.
And so
it is.
that
and we're going
is
to talk about most
absolutely.
Definitely. It's all about the money. It's all about the money, which is why the return rate for prisoners is so high. Because I think it's about $100,000 that the prison system get per person.
That's it.
So, you know, it's all about the money. So the more people I can keep incarcerated, the more money that the system gets. And so this is a money thing, but they're using our black males. And Deacon Moore already, he's on it because he's a teacher in the school system. So he's already saying that's so true, especially our young black males. And we got to tackle this thing. We're protesting, but we got to tackle this thing
and that's
on
one of the
at every
things,
single level.
And that's one of the things we are, you know, actually going to the, you know, to the people. To the state. And that's why it's important to vote. So we can get certain folks out and get certain people in, even at the school board, because we just had a local election on that. So.
That's so true. That's so true.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we're going to get pumped up today. I mean, we got some people, we got some heavy hitters up in here today, so they're going to be talking about this thing. So me and Sean ain't going to talk all the day. But we are going to bring you the word of the week today before we go to our commercial. We're going to bring you the word of the week. So let's clap it up, guys, for the word of the week. The word of the week is kind of appropriate for today. This was in the Urban Dictionary, and everybody knows that every week we get the word of the week from the Urban Dictionary. So I don't know if a lot of people use this word, but this was in the Urban Dictionary, so I thought it was appropriate today. Why we use the word Urban Dictionary, Sean?
Because we're black.
Oh, well, there you have it. So, yeah, we went to the Urban Dictionary. So the Urban Dictionary today, it says the word of the week is jail lag. Jail lag. Jail lag is the shift in time and routine experienced when one is released from jail after serving more than a few days. So it's almost like jet lag, but you have a little jail lag. And see, and I'm just saying, and I'm going to say this, because, you know, I got people in my family that's in jail. Heck, I'm in the jail, but I'm out. You know, it's all good.
Hattie Mae is out.
Hattie Mae is out. I'm out of jail. But here's the thing. So, like one of my cousins, you know, he come out of jail after a couple of years, right? So when you come out of jail after a couple of years, you think things are still the same, sir. Sir, things not the same. We don't. We're not wearing the bell bottoms no more, sir. We're gonna need you to go ahead and say, see, that's jail lag, because now your clock has kind of stopped when you went in. So now when you come out, you're gonna have to just survey the land. You're gonna have to look around and see what's going on, and just go on and fit into what's going on there.
Right.
Because what happened 10 years
adjustment,
ago when
right.
you was in it, it ain't happening no more. Take off them bell bottoms. We ain't wearing those this
Right.
year. That's out.
Right.
So you gotta get back in that jail lag. Hey, they don't know nothing about that jail lag. Hey, I said, hey, we see all you guys on the chat line. We are so excited that you tuned in. We see you, Dr. O, Tina, Arlene. We see all of you guys. Tia, hey, Denise, we love you. Arlene, we love you guys so much. And again, like I said, we don't take it for granted. Cynthia Moore, Deacon Moore. My husband's on there. Hey, William Toast and Natasha from Fit to the Fight in the Kingdom Fitness. She's trying to keep us fit. Lord knows I done missed my fitness on Saturday, but I'm coming back.
Natasha, you will be happy to know I did go walking today.
Oh, look at that, Sean. She's showing off. Don't worry about that. But Paula Bowling, Reverend Paula Bowling, and Deaconess Sherman. We see you. And Donnie, we see you. Pinky, you on the line. And Reverend Jordan and Jamal. We love you, Jamal. I miss seeing you. And Jackie. And Tanika, she's actually on from the road because Tanika is en route to Ocean City. So she's even found time to actually come in. Amy, hey, Amy, we love you. We happy that you on the chat with us today. You guys hold on for a second. We're gonna go to commercial in just 1 second. Don't you go anywhere, because the next two people that you'll see sitting up here is Miss Sharlene Miles and Mr. Charles Smith, and we're excited to have them. So don't you go anywhere. We're gonna go to our commercial break, and we'll come back and do the sponsors a little later. We'll take a break and do the sponsors, but we'll go to our commercial break so we can get them up here. All right, we're talking too much.
Hey, Chuck! Talk to me, Pastor Mitchell. I don't know about you, but I've had all kinds of friends in my life. I think I've been right down that road with you. Yeah, I had some so-called friends. Yes. When trouble came, they went the other way. Tell me about it. But one thing I'm glad about, that ain't a friend like the lonely Jesus. No. Well,
welcome back, welcome back. Hey, we have some of DC's finest in the house from the District of Columbia Workforce Development Program Specialist. I'm going to tell you guys, look right in that camera and just give them a wave to all the people. Your people are watching it. Hey, wave to everybody, wave to everybody. Hey, guys, we're talking about an all-important subject today. We're talking about freedom with a price. We're talking about recidivism. We're talking about all of those things, and we'll explain those terms if you do not know what they mean. The first person that we have to my left, because I don't want to do a lot of talking today. You know I can do a lot of talking. We have my wonderful, this is actually my baby sister, guys. This is my youngest sister. We actually shared the same room together, shared the same bunk bed together. I even got in the bed. Oh, I shouldn't talk about that. I'm not going to talk about that.
No, you can't.
But what I will talk about is that many times as sisters, sometimes people can't put sisters in a friend confidant category. I'm just so proud and so happy to have my sisters in the friend confidant category. And I have so much unconditional love for this young lady right here. I'm so proud of everything that she's done, everything that she's accomplished. Right now, she works for the DC government. She is a workforce development specialist, and she can further tell you what that means. But I can just tell you guys, she is a genuine person. Our family is full of love. We love people. And so it's just such an honor that she's sitting next to me today and that she's sharing the platform with me today. And I'm just honored to have her, and I'm just so happy that she could shed light on this very important topic. So hey, Leticia say hey, Shaw. All right, everybody saying hi, Sharlene. Hi, Sharlene. Sharlene Miles. All right.
Everybody. Hello,
all right. And Sean will introduce our next guest.
Yes, and to my immediate right, we have Mr. Charles A. Smith Jr., and because he has this extensive bio,
it's very important. He's a very important guy. He's a very important guy.
Okay. So, Mr. Charles Smith, he was born and raised in D.C. His parents separated and divorced when he was 6 years old, adding to the statistics of young black men and women being raised in a single-parent household. At age 15, he dropped out of high school and succumbed to a street lifestyle and drug-selling occupation. At 20 years old, in 1992, Charles was convicted and sentenced to what he thought would be 18 months, but he actually served 21 to 22 years. Now, when he eventually married and had his only child, his beautiful daughter, Nadira, and he earned his GED in 3 months once he went into the system from the University of the District of Columbia in Lawton Reformatory. So after he served he served his last 16 years in the Virginia State jurisdiction. So he eventually, unfortunately, got a divorce in 2001. And then while he was in prison, he found God while incarcerated and in turn found himself.
Amen.
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 So he served while he was in terms of a primary facilitator in workshops for substance abuse programs. And then in May 2013, at the age of 41, he was released from prison. He received mentorship from professionals and found his purpose. Since then, Charles has gained his community health work credentials from the Institute of Public Health and Innovation and his certificate in public leadership from George Washington University Center of Excellence. Charles became a homeowner in June 2017 and remarried to his gorgeous wife, Naz, on May 5th, 2019.
You hear it. You hear the testimony.
Amen.
You hear it.
Amen.
What a blessing. What a blessing.
Amen.
Everyone's greeting the guests. They're saying hello. Everyone's saying hello. They say, hey, Charlene. They say, we love you. Beautiful family. Andrea, who's Charlene's next door neighbor, they live in a penthouse together. So she say she representing for the penthouse. Someone said that powerful testimony, Brother Charles. Congratulations, brother. And Danya said, hey, best friend. Amen. Everybody say amen, because here's the thing. Hey, we just as much as domestic as we are divine. And so this is some real life situations, which is why I love this platform, because it's about real talk. It's about real talk. Interestingly enough, I'll get to the question. We'll get to the questions. 62% of men and 56% of women have high school diplomas still end up in custody. So guess what? It don't really have a lot to do with that, right?
Right.
I told you earlier that 41% of the population are Christian, right? So it don't really have a whole lot to do with that. I thought that the Muslim population was more in prison, but according to the statistics, the Bureau of Justice Statistics, I actually work for the Department of Justice, so I get a lot of research data specifically from the government websites, not just any old website. So I would just tell you that, what does it have to do with? So let's talk about this thing. Let's get into it. Let's get into it because, hey, this is some good stuff. This is some good stuff. So I'll start off with you, Chuck.
Okay.
That's his nickname, guys. His name's Chuck. Is it Chuck or Chucky? It's Chuck or Chucky?
I like the way you say Chuck.
Chuck. I always say Chuck. All right, Chuck. What would you say is the hardest part about returning to society? What's the hardest part?
The hardest part of returning is, I guess, it depends how much time you did in prison. You know, we talked earlier about recidivism. I think for a great reason, a lot of people return to prison because there really hasn't been a rehabilitation process going on in prison. You know, and when you just take that word rehabilitation, you have to first consider and ask yourself, has a person been habilitated? You know, rehabilitated is you know, is basically is refining oneself and rebuilding one's character. But a lot of times we come from societies where the character hasn't really been built. So I think the hardest part for me coming home was that social and emotional development. Because, you know, I went in at the age of 20. I came home at the age of 41. So socially and emotionally, I was still the age of 20 when I came home.
Wow.
You know, and you mentioned
The jet lag.
the
Jail
jail
lag.
lag?
Jail lag. Jail lag.
I was going to go. You mentioned that word jail lag. That's so true for people that have served significant periods of time in prison. You know, but there's many different types of institutionalization as well. So I'm not going to speak too much on that.
No, I mean, this is an authentic show. We want to hear the truth.
Right.
I want to just get into the term recidivism because not everyone knows what that is, right? So recidivism is measured by criminal acts that resulted in rearrest or reconviction or return to prison with or without a new sentence. So it doesn't have to with or without a new sentence during a 3-year period following a prisoner's release. So it's basically, how many times do a person go to jail within that 3-year period of being released? Right. So if you go back to jail, that's called the recidivism. And so they basically try to lower the recidivism rate substantially in the U.S. But I can tell you that in D.C. alone, that the recidivism rate, now check this out, is over 70%.
Wow.
Over 70%. So you mean to tell me that people that's coming out of prison, they are bound to really go back to prison because it's 77% return back to prison. I mean, let's talk about that. I mean, because do they just kind of make it impossible for you out here? Because what I've seen and the people that I know with all the supervised release that goes on, with all the probation that goes on right now, I mean, it's like if you get a minor violation, just a minor violation, you driving a dirt bike, you running a red light, you do jaywalking, they putting you back in the system because, again, this is all about money. So what do you tell, and I know that you and both Sharlene, and either one of y'all can ask this, or both of you can ask, what do you tell, because I know that you all have a program in D.C. called Project Empowerment that a lot of the returning citizens will come to. So what do you tell them? How do you get them ready for society?
So first of all, like he said, we have to be ready. So I thank God for the training that we have received through DC government for us to give back to them what they need. So the community health worker training that training was extensive. It was much needed and mandatory. So now when they come to us, you know, re-entering into society, we now know how to handle them. Because first of all, you can't work with somebody if you don't know how to work on yourself. I can't help you come for me if I haven't helped myself. So we have gone through extensive training in order to assist the folks that are returning citizens. And it's been a rewarding experience. I must say a very much rewarding experience. But like you say, the jail lag plays a big part in it. We see that on the employment employment standpoint, like, you know, when they went in back in the early 80s when, you know, crack was real high on the scene and, you know, everybody was getting money. And then you get out, they give you a flip phone now and $50 and like, go with God. Yeah. And then you come to our program and it's like, help me. Right. Literally like, help me.
So question, so they come to you for help. Can you give specific examples of exactly what services you provide to help them?
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, you got to think. Project Empowerment is a transitional employment program that serves DC residents that have barriers to employment. And the key term there is barriers to employment. So those barriers consist of lack of secondary education, history of substance abuse, history of mental health, you know, felony conviction, you know, constant job cycling, mental health history. So every support to all those barriers that I just mentioned, we provide. Okay. You know, the cornerstone of our program is our job readiness life skill program. Okay. And the first topic that we cover, and we really are very heavy on this particular topic, is attitude. You know, and one of the most significant parts of it is having the participant, and I myself was a participant, having the participant, you know, understand what shape and mold their attitudes. So this way you're able to give a participant or a person insight to why they are the way they are, why they think, why they respond, why they behave the way they are. And you know, once you're able to put a face and a definition on certain characteristics, only then can you change it. And the most important thing is, you know, we have a personnel, we have a staff, we have a team that sincerely cares about the people. Right? It's a term that we use. No one knows. I mean, no one cares about how much you know until they know how much you care. Right. You know, so
that's a good point. That's a very good point. Very good point.
So once they know how much you care, you know, then they get buy-in, and that's when the transformation starts.
And it starts literally after they know that we care.
Right.
And so we go into the, like, Chucky here is one of the co-facilitators as well in this program. So once they pretty much get the feeling that he cares, I mean, like, it's only 3 weeks, but in that third week, you know their family, you know their family history, you know what's going on in their lives. They'll pull you to the side and be like, I just want to talk to you. I saw you when you walked down the hall. You spoke to me. You greeted me, Mr. So-and-so or Miss So-and-so. And it's like, I want that all the time.
Absolutely.
I want that all the time. And so after they come out of the classroom, it's like, now, let's see what you do in the employment sector. You know, let's see what you do out there. And it motivates them when we come around to where their sites are, just for them to be like, okay, you're not coming as my PO or on my back end. You literally come to see
check.
if I okay.
Right.
You know, does my child have child care? You know, Miss Miles, you know, I didn't have any money to get to work this week. Let me see what I can do. Because just that one thing can throw you off. Can throw you off. You not having transportation can throw you off. Or put you back in, like we talked about the recidivism. We talked about those things. So just one little thing can spiral out of control.
Right. We got a couple of good points in the chat, and I really want to get to the chat because they have some good points. Diamond talks about we got Tony on there. Hey Tony, I know you're tuning in for one of them, and we got Diamond on the line. She said yes, no bail system in DC means stricter supervision conditions. So they don't have a bail system in D.C. So what ends up happening is when they come out of jail, now you're on this really, really strict supervised release. And what I find sometimes is that those people with mental illnesses, those people with drug addictions, those people that's dealing with all of those things. And so now you put them out there in the world and you say, we're going to drug test you 3 times a week. Isn't that kind of a setup for failure?
I was about to say, it sounds like a setup.
Do you think that's a setup for failure?
It's a setup.
I mean, if I'm addicted to drugs, but now you're going to drug 3 times a week, I mean, and you've given me no assistance for my drug addiction, I mean, is that not a setup?
And you mentioned it earlier about, you know, the prison system or the justice system. You know, there are 3 Ps that, you know, the criminal system or the incarceration is basically structured by, and that is politics, punishment, and profit. Right? It's not about rehabilitation and what me and Sharlene was talking about as far as that buy-in or sincerely caring about a person. Once a person know that you truly care about them, then that's something different than for a lot of us that come from urban environments. That's something different than what we are accustomed to because, I know when I came up, I was looking for that love. I couldn't understand it at home, even though it was home. I couldn't understand that particular type of love because it was more so discipline, which coincides with what I mean by punishment. Right? What needs, I think, what is really needed for a lot of our youth. And for a lot of our elder youth as well, that is that true engagement to really engage and let a person know that I really care about you, right? And that in turn makes one feel worthy. That in turn makes one feel valuable, and that's the only thing that trumps that black mark when you coming out of prison.
Wow.
When you said, when you asked that first question. What's the most challenging thing? The most challenging thing is you come out with a black mark. And
I think Denise on the line spoke about that. Denise said they go back because they have paid their dues, but society has not forgiven them.
Right.
No jobs, pay taxes, but they can't vote.
I was about to say, and like you said, the political aspect, so they know when they come back, there's a felony, they can't, their vote won't count. They cannot vote.
Right.
So that affects,
That's what's so wonderful about D.C. though.
DC.
Oh, but it's not a state.
It's not a state.
Right.
It's about to be a state, though, I think. I think we good. We moving there. So we need to put that into effect now. Lord, look. So.
And another thing that speaks volumes about D.C. is that term, returning citizen. Right? I know prior to me coming home to D.C., the term that you used to label returning citizen was ex-con.
Right.
But D.C. is the first place that I heard returning citizen. The emphasis being a
citizen. That's returned. That makes
words
sense.
Matter.
That makes
Words
sense.
matter.
That makes sense.
Words
Very
matter.
good.
Yeah.
The 3 bad P's. Oh yeah. That. So people are commenting on that. Those 3 P's says a lot about the system. Yes, Chuck. Not enough people talk about this. Change comes when they know someone cares. I think Tony said building trusting relationships is very important, and I think we find that throughout life, right? If you're a teacher, whatever profession you're in, a manager, the supervisor, to employee, you have to be able to build the trust, and so I think that that's very important. I think that's important as a school teacher. And Janelle is on the line; she's a school teacher as well. We got the teachers up here today. Desma, hey, she said, hey, Miss Tosa, hey, Desma, I love you. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Dr. O had a question here. Let me just go down the line. Dr. O had a question, and she says, doesn't society's perception require a cultural shift? See, Dr. O deep. Dr. O deep. But I'm going to tell you something, Dr. O. Chuck ready for you.
He is.
Require a cultural shift. And that depends on what she means by culture. And, it definitely needs a shift. And I think what we're experiencing right now is a shift taking place.
I think so.
This upheaval that is happening.
People are aware.
Yep. There seems to be more awareness starting to pervade, not only, it's starting to pervade color lines.
That's important. I see the shift. Yes.
So I would say in the affirmative, I would definitely say yes, because our culture that we come up in, we already know that we are considered what's the fraction that we are considered, y'all?
3/5.
Yes.
3/5.
So pretty much, what we are privy to as blacks is, not adequate education, not adequate health care, not adequate opportunities. So of course, if there's a shift where if equity was inserted, then it would definitely be transforming.
Right. I agree.
So we can say
Dr.
that
O agrees too.
Right.
Yeah.
So we can pretty much say that the base of everything, even the foundation, at the end of the day, just like the whole awakening right now is Black Lives Matter, is that it's systemic racism. I mean, so the system is not even set up for us to succeed. Just like we talk about the school pipeline. So I was going to ask you real quick. I know you all assist the people that come out, right? What do you call it?
Return to citizen.
So, but even with those, is there another sector in your organization that actually work with the school system to prevent people to even from going in? Or is that a different organization?
That's kind of not that I know of.
Okay.
I mean,
We've tried to get into the schools.
Okay.
And we've done trainings together.
Okay.
We've actually went to where did we go to? A police precinct one time. Yep. And there were parents in there with their sons and daughters and everything. And him and I spoke about our program. We talked about these topics that we're talking about. But it's kind of like you said, the buy-in. You have to have the buy-in from those parents first.
Right.
Absolutely.
Who don't believe, these are the parents that get on TV after their child and shot somebody in the head. Oh, he was a good boy, and my child didn't do this. So you got to get the buy-in from those parents or those loved ones, those grandmothers, everybody that they're,
their village.
The village. You got to get them involved first.
Right.
And once you get them involved, you feel that buy-in. That's where we come in with the statistics. With how the importance of it all.
Right.
We come in with the importance of it all.
Right.
So,
right along with what Sharlene said, I was a DC resident that had a summer job.
Marion Barry.
Thank God.
Yeah, I did.
Marion Barry. We love you.
Summer employment, yes.
We work for Division of State Initiatives, Project Empowerment, but we work for Department of Employment Services. So Department of Employment Services does have, we have DCCC, which is Career Connections, and it's a prevention. Well, it's a transitional employment program for risk at youth. Just like the summer youth program, is in the schools in order to help at-risk youth. But a lot of times, a lot of these programs are meeting them
After the fact.
Say it again.
After the fact.
After the fact.
Right. That's after the fact. So we got to get in early.
I mean,
we're talking elementary school really is where we need to go in.
So
we need to be in there.
So you understand by the time they get to us, we got our work cut out for us.
Right.
And sometimes it's a struggle.
Right.
Oh,
because they coming in like
those
straight up.
Yeah.
Like I love one of their sayings. They have this saying in class, from the streets to the suites. And it's like, they got to come out them streets first before they get to the suites. But they all want the suites. They want the suites, the sweet life. But they have to, just get mentally prepared to understand what's your competition out there. What's going to prevent you from getting the suites? Because it's there for you. It's there for us all. But however, like you said, when you get to us, it's like, whoo, child. This one right here, I don't know how I'm going to get this one just to calm down. Or I don't know how I'm going to get this one too. Just come to work on time. Get to class on time. Pull your pants up. You know what I'm saying? It's just like small things like that. However, like I said, it's been rewarding and it's very exciting because, trust me, it's an adventure every single day. Every single day.
Right. And sometimes I know for a fact, Charlene's working and late at night at 10 o'clock talking to participants. I mean, because you really become their friend, their counselor, their guidance. And so I think that you're right that you got to be so mentally prepared and you have to be healed yourself in order to even deal with them. We do have some really great points on the line. Janelle, who's a school teacher, she says the 3 Ps that are designed to keep our people in the system, and that's why a program like Project Empowerment is necessary and important. Kudos to both of you, she says. Diamond says, yes, the labeling definitely matters. It can shift a whole mindset. So I think she was answering Dr. O's question. Erica agrees. We have so many people on here. My cousin Dave is on here. Excellent show. Fan with great insight from Chuck and Shaw. So he didn't cut your name up too. Chuck and Shaw. But we do have, Reverend Jordan is actually the head of the prison ministry over at New Home Baptist Church. So she did have a question, is the program only for residents of D.C.? If so, do you know if their program is available also in Maryland and Virginia that kind of do the same thing?
No.
Look at DC.
No.
Maryland doesn't have that.
They've actually taken our curriculum on the road, and people have stopped them at conferences like, how can I be down? Pretty
Wow.
much. But
And
DC has the only program
That's
like that, and
amazing.
it's for DC residents.
Wow.
Unfortunately,
And I don't say that. I don't say that to step on anybody's toes. I say it from an endearment standpoint, and with love. The key factor in the Transitional Employment Program, Project Empowerment, is it's an incentive program. So, in order to go through the different phases, we're compensating them. You know, so there are, you know, I mean, that Transitional Employment Program model is in a lot of places. However, the compensation part
Right.
is not there. So that's the
Right.
reason why I said no.
Because when the people come, they actually get paid for training.
Yes.
right.
Oh,
So
wow.
when they come in, they do job readiness,
Yep.
and they begin to train them, and so they begin to get ready for training to re-enter and to get ready to how you
workforce.
cope with jobs, with the workforce. They have graduations.
Oh, wow.
And
They have
some- and
speakers for the
even speaking of
graduations.
graduations, some of these graduations are the only time they've
They've
ever
ever
graduated.
graduated. Wow.
We've actually had participants that coming in with a cap and a gown.
Right.
Grandmas on the other side, when they get after they shake everybody's hand, have the whole room crying
Wow.
because their child or
Yeah.
grandchild
They've never
did
seen-
anything.
yeah.
So
Right.
we, like you said, going back to that, the whole aspect of it all, we have to be able to care.
Right.
Because if we don't care, they're not going
Right.
to buy into it. So
Right.
it's, I ain't mean to cut you off.
No,
but
no,
just
you're
talking about the
good.
graduation
It's
thing.
all about
I
you.
think
It's all
it's
about
a
you.
very good question because, you know, council and, you know, individuals that have these monies to be able to, you know, provide for particular programs like this is needed. You need incentive programs. You need for a person to be able to get trained, make that transition, become ready, like you said, Crystal, become ready to get that sense of responsibility because the whole environment, our standard is professionalism.
Right.
Right? So you have to conform to professionalism before we even allow you to transition out of job training.
Right.
That's a good thing.
Even
And
down to like interviewing skills. Like you're graded on like your ability to do a mock interview.
Right.
Because what you do in front of us, you're going to do that in front of an
Absolutely.
employer.
that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
You're going to do
Yeah.
that in front of an employer.
Right.
And if you're stumbling over words and shaking, we will shut the interview
Oh,
down.
body language. Yeah.
Shut it down.
Yes.
Now,
We're gonna start
fold
over.
the paper
Right.
over. Calm down. No one knows you better than you.
Right.
Just talk
Right.
to me.
Right.
Right.
Go in there and be yourself. And then
Right.
then they'll pull you out after the interview and be like, Miss Miles, thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you know, I was just so nervous reading.
Yeah.
Don't tell me I'm motivated. I'm dedicated. You what?
Right.
Nobody want to hear all that. Flip that paper over and you tell me about
Right.
yourself. I
Right.
see that all on that resume. Now speak to the resume.
Right.
Speak
Right.
to the resume.
Right.
And I'll tell you this just not good advice for people returning, by the way. I've sat on some interview panels, and can I just say that we need some of that there, too. I mean, people graduating from college, particularly our students, when I've seen them come to the interview, and we're interviewing them, I'm very sad sometimes when I see our students graduating, and they have not had this form of training on how to interview. This is a very important skill on how to interview. That's a show all by itself. Maybe
Right.
we'll do a show on just interviewing. No, seriously, this is very serious.
Right.
We had some more people. Look, I got in trouble last week because I didn't announce my mama was on the chat line. She has been taking her weeks to figure out how to get on the chat. She got on last week. I forgot to mention her last week. But this, she's on there. She she pumping her daughter, go Shaw, go Shaw. That's what she on the chat line saying. You know, she ain't saying go Crystal. She saying go Shaw, go Shaw. You know, so yeah. So my mama is on the line. So hi, Mom. I do see you're chatting on here. Hazel, we love you. We're so happy that we got some returning folks. Hazel,
Yes.
Deacon Moore, and Dolores, who's Sean's friend, comes on every week. Sinitria, my best friends, on every week. Phyllis, we love you. That's my aunt who comes on. And we got a couple of questions in here, guys. There's so many questions. I'm trying to see if we're going to get to them. Okay, Denise talked about I'm sorry, Sean. Let me ask Denise a question. Then we got some more questions. But let's see. How do you feel about an all-boys school? Do you think that would be kind of helpful? All-boys school? What do you
They
think?
actually have one. Is it Ron Brown? Ron Brown High School is an all-boys
Oh, wow.
high school here in D.C.
And I'll be interested to get some stats on that
Yeah,
and
they
how
have
they're
one in
doing.
D.C.
I would say more than an all boys school. Put more men in the school.
Say
More,
that.
more men
Yeah,
teachers.
put more men teachers in the school system.
Yes,
Because for a lot of
that's
us,
it.
for a lot
That's
of us,
it.
male youth, you know, that's one of the distracting things, or can be distracting or discouraging things, is you have a lot of women, you know, teachers in our schools, and you know, sometimes we can't relate. You know, and I don't want to go too deep into that. But,
Right.
That's true.
Right.
And no, that's no.
That's
because,
true.
but-
Yeah.
Because what we do, I'm the only female
Right.
job coach.
Oh, okay.
And I'm trust me, my brothers, and I hope y'all watching. You know what I'm saying? Like, we stick together. We call ourselves the South Side, but we stick together. They're not gonna let anybody disrespect me or anything like that. But I hold my own when it comes to those guys.
Right.
Don't come in here flirting.
Right.
This is not about that.
Right.
This is
Right.
about trying to help you.
Absolutely.
I
Right.
am not Sharlene to you. I'm Miss Miles.
Okay.
And I'm gonna respect
Right.
you as being
Miss-
Mr. or
Right.
Miss So and so.
Right.
So yeah.
Right.
So yeah.
Absolutely.
And I would go so far to say, before you separate gender of a particular race, you know, my thought is, what I contemplate is separating the race. You know, I'm talking about separation in a sense. Let me definitely explain.
Yeah. I'm like, don't call us. The views and opinions expressed on this show right here don't necessarily express the views of Chattitudes.
I say that.
Go ahead. I'm like, oh, Lord have mercy. Go ahead. Explain yourself, Chuck.
I
He
say
got a good explanation.
I say that in this sense. I know when I was coming up in elementary school and junior high that most of the history that I learned wasn't about me.
Okay. Good point.
So it was hard for me to find the value. It was hard for me to identify with who I was. So,
good.
you know,
True.
I mean, I know it came across, you know, controversial, that statement. But that's what I mean. Maybe if I would have said, put more content and more history about Black people in schools. So,
That's it, yeah.
So when we come out of those schools, we can have a sense of worth and pride about ourselves.
Right.
And this thing is so layered.
Thank you.
That's,
It is.
That's the
It
reason
is.
a lot of times why we go searching for an identity. And the images that we
Wow.
get, you know, those images are basketball players, you know, people that can run, jump, sing, dance. You know, we don't have, I know coming up, we don't have a lot of professional images. You know, when I stepped outside of my house, the people that were getting respect were the people that was on the block. You know, right? So you can only contrast that with when somebody of another race steps outside of their house, what they see. So if I had already a foundation of self-worth, then I would be able to look past that and not take a moment and be tempted to think that maybe, you know what, if I did what he did, then I can get some respect. So I guess most importantly is that we need the truth about ourselves in these schools. And I guess that's relevant to Dr. O's question, you know, changing the culture.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
So someone didn't want to know if you went to DC public schools growing up.
Yep.
He went to Anacostia.
I
The
went to Ketchum, Anacostia.
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 The best school on the south side. Anacostia.
There's no other school.
Right. So many people are saying we got a lot of teachers here. We got a lot of teachers here. It's Anacostia over here. So Anacostia.
We ain't like y'all to the was it Turkey Bowl anyway.
Right. Miss Alice, we see you out there. Everybody's agreeing. Dave, Janelle, all the teachers are agreeing that so many more male mentors and male teachers.
need to see
Someone
those
even said,
examples.
hey, you know what? They should actually, if the salaries were better, they would probably attract more male teachers. You know, I do know the salaries are pretty good in the DC public schools. I can't speak for other schools. Sanidra said, did he go to Eastern? No, Sanidra went to Anacostia. He went to my school. Denise said boys learn differently. Educators have yet to realize this. Statistics actually shows this, and so boys learn differently. So I think to everyone's point, and Charles said it for sure, that I think we just need male teachers. We need male role models.
Absolutely.
Right.
At the end of the day.
Right. I
That's
think
it,
most of the
yeah.
times we learn in school is about Martin Luther King, right? That's what we
right.
learn. We learn about Martin Luther King.
Douglas.
And we really talk about them
Harriet
only
Tubman.
in February.
February.
In February.
February.
That's what we get. And so I do agree. I
gotta
do
change
agree.
the curriculum.
I have not asked one question off my list, by the way. I got so many questions. Now people shouting out Anacostia, go Indians.
Go 18.
Look at, you know what? This is a good point because Stephanie Stephanie was she said my husband went to an all boys school and says that he felt that it really did make a difference for him.
Sure. Yeah.
It did make a difference for him. So yeah. He would have got that. If he went to Eastern, he would have gotten that history. Oh, now they are. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's good to hear, Deacon Moore. He said they're working on putting African American curriculum back in the schools.
Oh, good.
So that's a really good thing. That's a really good thing. DSI, stand up. What does that mean?
Division of State Initiatives.
Division of State Initiatives. All right, they say stand up. So this is so good. This is so good. And I think somebody else had a question. And I'm telling you, Reverend Jordan had a question. But I'm telling you, it went so. Okay, go ahead.
So she was asking, do you find that their families, those that are coming out of prison, are their families supportive of them when they return? What kind of support do they get?
Yeah, that's kind of like I'm gonna take it from my perspective. He can tell you from a coming home perspective, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So sometimes DSI, Project Environment, DCCC, we are their family. Like when they get in trouble or they need something, they're calling their job coaches or they're calling their facilitator because, like you say, we have showed that we've cared so much, or their intake specialist. I mean, all the way down the line. Like I've gone to Providence Hospital when somebody just mentally broke down, and I'm saying to myself, I know you have a son, fathers, all this. The only number he could find was mine.
Wow.
Was mine. And it was just like, I felt compelled when I called her. I was like, I can't let this man sit up there like that. And trust me, if anybody knows, I think you said on the show before, hospitals give me the creeps.
Oh, yeah.
But I had to go up there to ensure that he was okay.
Yeah.
So sometimes we are their family. So.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That question, the support system is everything.
Everything.
I can imagine.
Everything. It is the key for success to somebody that's returning to society. I'm humbly fortunate that when I came home, I had a strong support system.
Awesome.
My mother was there. My father was there. My ex-wife, was even there. So I had that, and I would hate to think what would have become of me if I didn't have that. And we serve a lot of returning citizens that don't, and it's heart-wrenching. It's heart-wrenching. But then you get that sense of reward once, they have graduated or, they have obtained a job and they tell you. I had a young man on this quarantine, where we working remotely. The job site where he was interning, they reached back out to him, even when he couldn't intern anymore. They reached back out to him and hired him. And this was one of my high maintenance guys. This is a young guy. He wouldn't do nothing that I was asking him to do. He wouldn't go get his GED. But when he got the job, after I finished recording the information, he said, "Mr. Smith, I just want to tell you thank you," right? And he kept saying it like he did not want me to take this lightly. He said, "I just want to tell you thank you," because he said there's so many people. And Sharlene knows that when you're coming from an urban environment, a lot of us are put in a box as service providers. We're put in a box. I don't even care if you come from where they come from. They put you in a box, and they're saying you're only just doing this for the job. They don't. A lot of them, you really got to convince that you truly care.
Right.
And he said, "Man, look," he said, "if it wasn't for you, I would not have stayed at that site." He said, "The only reason why I came to work is because I knew you were coming, and I didn't want them to tell you anything bad about me."
Wow.
And that actually teared me up.
Wow.
Because
it makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah.
Right.
So
That's
you're walking in your purpose.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
Wow.
That's wonderful.
And I'm proud that we do what we do.
And
because of
so you were
small
able to
instances
relate
like
to him
that.
because you absolutely.
Right. And that's we're
that's
so
key,
thankful
too.
for you guys. Diamond said, "Can you speak on the support women have in prison versus support men get? Do you think there's a big difference in the support that women get versus men?"
I'm gonna let Sharlene.
Well, what I've seen is like I would say this: they get a large amount of support if they have children. If they have children. You know, I see that. You know, they put them through like parenting classes and everything like that. However, when they come home and they get into our program, they look to the women, which we don't have a large amount of women in our division. However, the women in DSI, we stands up and we let them know. Oh no, boo, that dress. Let's get that together. Or we pull them in.
Okay.
Or it's like, come here, let me fix that. I'm sorry, let me fix that for you. Or let me, just let me be, that sister that you don't
Absolutely.
have. But I do realize that when they have children, they get major support. However, the etiquette piece to it, no.
Wow.
I'm being honest. I'm being honest. No.
So it's going to take someone who cares
It's
to
going to take
actually
someone who cares,
mentor them
who
in that
actually
way.
cares
Right.
for these young ladies that's coming out, and we care. Like, you can't have the blue hair and think you're going to go in the interview.
Wow,
You
yeah.
can't. I mean, I know you love it, and if you're going to open your own business or be a cosmetologist, honey, do what you do.
Right.
But, we're already, like you said, 3/5 of a person.
We already marked.
Black
Already
mark
marked.
already on
Absolutely.
you. And then you come sitting in my face.
Freedom
as
with
an
a
employee
price.
Hair.
with
Freedom
this
with
pink
a
hair.
price.
Freedom,
Yeah.
like you say, freedom with a price. With a
Yeah.
price. Also, it looks
Yeah.
nice. Those look nice. But when you go
We
in
don't
the
have
interview,
that freedom.
we just go
We
ahead
don't
and
have
put this
that.
in a little
Yeah.
wig, black that on up real quick.
Right.
And
Come on,
get
black.
the job.
Come on, black it on up. There go Sharlene coming up. Look, Tony says, Charles, we love you, your family in Memphis. And I'm just saying, see, this is why I love Chattitudes, because you look at here, because then someone shouted back out, Tasha shouted back, hey, I'm from Memphis too. So they having some conversations on the chat line. We see my cousin Baylon is on the line. I love him so much. My cousin Dave, I love them. I love these guys. Wow. That's love right there, Sharlene. You have both of you are gifted and anointed to do the work that you do.
You gotta have a heart to do that.
You gotta have a heart to do this. How can we support the program? Can people support the program, or is it totally supported by the DC government or government funds? Can people come in? Can they be mentors? How can they come? I mean, because this is very intriguing to people, and we know that assistance is needed. I know for a fact. I mean, I'm not around Charles as much, but I'm around Sharlene, and I can tell you, this is a demanding job. It's demanding. It just kind of wears me out. Hey, we see you all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, Leon Samuels. Leon, thank you for watching.
That's Southside right
Southside. In fact, we're going to do a show, Growing Up DC, too, by the way, guys. We're going to talk about all the stuff in DC. Reverend Allison Hill gave us that topic to do, Growing Up in DC.
Yes.
So we're going to have a Growing Up in DC show,
I
too.
went to high school with Reverend Allison.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
graduated from HD.
I mean, she's trying to keep getting HD in there. Okay, let's give HD some love, everybody. Let's give HD some love. This is a very important topic. We've already, Dolores, I love Dolores, because I can tell when our show is good, because Dolores will put part 2. So if we don't get a part 2, that means that the show not that good. We got a part 2 already, and guess what, Dolores? Your prayers have already been answered, because we're actually going to do a part 2. We have someone from the NAACP. I actually work for the Department of Justice. Diamond, my daughter, actually works for the Office of Juvenile Justice. And this is where we get them. So we do a preventative thing. And so I'll have Diamond come in. I'll have someone from the Department of Justice come on. So we'll talk about the preventive piece, because we got grandchildren, we still got sons out here and daughters out here. And like I said, don't think it can't happen to you and your family. Don't get involved when it's just your family.
Amen.
And so we'll answer that question. Angela Battle, Memphis is in the house. Look, they doing shout outs. Look at this. This is why I love this show. This is why I love this show, guys.
She asked about support. Word of mouth. Right?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth. We can always use more felon-friendly employers.
Right. That's what I was going to say.
You got to have
you
a
all
heart.
have or know of some employers that are willing to participate in the program, definitely we'll leave our information. And like you say, felon-friendly. Felon-friendly.
Okay.
That will assist with being a work site or a host site for those participants. Right now we're still teleworking because of, COVID-19. However, when we back up and running, we'll definitely reach out to those people or send them in the right direction as to our job development team that works with those employers to get those names and get those contacts, so we can definitely work with those organizations.
Right. Look, guys, we're going to thank all of us. So I don't know where the time goes. This just drives me crazy every week. Drives me crazy every week.
Oh, God.
So we over our time. So look, we got like a 2-minute commercial break. Don't you go anywhere. We're going to come back with our final final thoughts, and we're gonna see if any one of them have a final thought. Sean always closes us out with our victory viewpoints. Don't you go anywhere, and we'll talk about next week's show real quick. But don't you go anywhere, people. We love you. Don't go anywhere, because we're gonna come back with our victory viewpoints, because we gotta wrap it all up. Thank you guys so much. All right.
Awesome.
Hey, Chuck! Talk to me, Pastor Mitchell. I don't know about you, but I've had all kinds of friends in my life. I think I've been right down that road with you. Yeah, I had some so-called friends. Yes. When trouble came, they went the other way. Tell me about it. But one thing I'm glad about, that ain't a friend like the lonely Jesus. No. Well, can't nobody come on do me like Jesus. Can't nobody do me like the Lord. Can't nobody do me like Jesus. 'Cause he's my friend.
Hey guys, welcome back. Hey, we just want to take time out to just thank these two lovely guests, everyone on the chat line. We're going to still talk about prison next week, because there's so many different parts to it. And so we just want to bring that back again, back to back. But Charles has something to say, and then we'll close out with Sean, as always, with our victory viewpoint, because we do like to have our spiritual spin on this thing and bring it back to our Heavenly Father. And so, Charles.
Yeah, I think after considerable thought on that statement that I made as far as separating race, at a time like this, that's a very sensitive statement. And I think what we probably did not put in the equation here is the spirituality piece, because we are all God-fearing individuals, and we are all God's children. So there is nothing but one race, and I definitely wanted to make that
Right. One race. And what is that? That's the human race. All right. God loves everyone. All right, Sean.
Okay. So, with the victory viewpoints, we all have faced, or maybe still facing, some form of bondage, whether it be physically in a prison, or it could be our emotions, emotionally or mentally. When we are bound due to limitations placed on us, be it from the exterior source in terms of the judiciary system, or due to our sin or lack of faith and hope, always remember God is unlimited in what he can do to set us free. It's understandable if we get frustrated and discouraged because of the limitations that's placed on us. But no, Jesus is our biggest advocate when we place our hope in him and not in man. So he is our lawyer in the courtroom to plead our case. Now, the Bible tells us in Isaiah 43:19, behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall bring forth, shall you not know it? I will even make a road in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. And then he says, John 8:36, therefore, if the Son makes you free, ye shall be free indeed. So despite anything or any system that tries to hold us down, think on these things. Jesus will set you free.
Amen.
Hey, who the Son sets free is free indeed. All right. Look, guys, it's been another wonderful show. We love you guys. We love family and friends getting together and just talking. And thank you for Charles for just being authentic and bringing transparency to his own life and a testimony to everyone who was listening. Thanks to my wonderful sister, Sharlene. I just love her so much. I'm so happy that she's on board. This has just brought joy to my day. And so, look, we'll see you next week. We're going to still talk about prison. We're going to talk about different aspects of it. So we're going to go to part 2, freedom with the price, guys. So come back next week, and we're going to talk about this subject some more. We didn't even cover half of the questions. We didn't cover half of them. I'm just telling you. So we'll see you next week, and remember that we love you, and God loves you too. All right, thank you. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Listen up, check us out. Use the hotline now to chime. Come on and join us. There's lots of surprise for you. Fun and family, with great fellowship too. Crystal and Sean have exciting words. I'm sure there's something that you've never heard. Sunday at 6, it's an excellent mix. We got spiritual spiritual flair. Special guests will be there. Come on and join us. We're here and waiting for you. Connect with us at 6 o'clock. We wanna share in all you do. Come on and join us. Come right here and find. Connect with us and share your thoughts. We wanna explore your mind. Chattitudes, Chattitudes.
What's your attitude?
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 Come on and join us. We're gonna have a good time. Listen up, check us out. Use the hotline number to chime. Come on and join us. There's lots of surprise for you. Fun and family, with great fellowship too. Crystal and Sean have exciting words. I'm sure there's something that you've never heard. Sunday at 6, it's an excellent mix. We got spiritual flair, special guests will be there. Come on and join us. We're here and waiting for you. Connect with us at 6 o'clock. We wanna share in all you do. Come on and join us. Come right here and find. Connect with us and share your thoughts. We wanna explore your mind. Chattitudes, Chattitudes.
What's your attitude?
Chattitudes, Chattitudes.
What's your attitude?
Chattitudes, Chattitudes.
What's your attitude?
Chattitudes, Chattitudes.
What's your attitude?